All right, let's dive into a tool that every single person working with VMware needs to know inside and out. We're talking about the Direct Console User Interface, or as you'll hear it called, the DCUI. This is literally the very first screen you're going to work with on a new ESXi host. So let's get you comfortable with it right from the start.
So, picture this. You've just done a fresh install of ESXi. The server reboots, and you're staring at this classic yellow and gray screen. It's just sitting there, waiting for you to tell it what to do. We've all been in that exact spot. So, what's your first move? How do you take this powerful machine and get it online and doing actual work?
Well, the answer is the DCUI. Think of it like the cockpit of your server, before you can turn on the autopilot. Before you get to use any of those fancy web clients or remote management tools, you have to start right here. It's a super simple menu-driven interface that's designed for one thing: getting those first critical settings in place and being your first line of defense when you need to troubleshoot.
So first things first, before we can configure anything, we have to actually get inside, right? Let's talk about how to access this menu and start telling the host what to do.
And you're going to love how simple this is. The key to everything, your key to the kingdom, is the F2 key. That's it. You're at the physical server, you hit F2, and it's going to pop up a login screen. You log in as the root user with that password you set up during the installation. And boom, you're in.
Now, it's really important to understand the difference here. Local access, that's you hitting F2 at the server, is the mandatory starting point. You have to do this. It's how you get a brand new host off the ground. Remote access, using things like SSH, well, that's what you enable after you've done this initial setup. That's for all the powerful day-to-day management. You gotta walk before you can run.
Okay, so you're logged in. What is the absolute number one first thing you need to do? It's getting that host talking to the network. Why? So you can get out of the cold server room and manage it from the comfort of your own desk.
You know, this metaphor is just perfect. A new ESXi host is a completely isolated island. It has no way to talk to anything. When you configure its management network, you're essentially building a bridge to the mainland. You're giving it the IP address it needs to connect to everything else. Without that bridge, it's just a very expensive, very lonely box.
And the process itself is really straightforward. In the menu, you just pick Configure Management Network. Then you'll hop into the IPv4 settings. You're going to give it a static IP address. Super important for a server, right? So things can always find it. Then you'll set the subnet mask and the default gateway so it knows how to talk to the rest of the world. And finally, you pop in your DNS servers and give the host a good name. That's it. 4 simple steps and you're online.
Now listen up, because this is the one thing that trips up almost everyone when they're new to this. After you've put in all that network info, you have to hit the escape key to back out. And when you do, it's going to ask you, do you want to apply these changes and restart the network? You have to hit Y for yes. If you don't, all that typing you just did was for nothing. But here's the thing, the DCUI is way more than just a setup tool. It's also your first line of defense when things start acting weird. Think of it as your emergency troubleshooting toolkit. I mean, look at all the power you have right here. You can turn on the ESXi shell and SSH for some deep command line work, though, pro tip, you should always turn those off when you're done for security. You can also dig into system logs, run a network test to see if your settings are working, or even completely reset the whole system configuration. It's like a Swiss Army knife for your host. Now, out of all these tools, you need to remember this one: Restart Management Agents. If your host ever drops off from vCenter or you just can't connect to it, this is your go-to move. It is, without a doubt, the turn it off and on again for your ESXi services. It solves a huge number of common problems, and you don't even have to reboot the whole server. It's a lifesaver. Okay, so you've configured the network. You know your way around the troubleshooting tools. Now it's time to graduate. Let's unlock the real power of managing this thing from anywhere. And getting this set up is also super easy. Back in the DCUI, you just go to Troubleshooting Options, and you select Enable SSH. Now, from any other computer, you can use an SSH client, connect to your host's IP, and here's the magic trick. Once you're logged in, just type DCUI and hit Enter. And what happens? The exact same yellow and gray menu pops right up in your remote session. How cool is that? And here's one more pro tip for when you're working remotely. You can instantly switch between the full command line shell and this friendly DCUI menu. Just hit Alt plus F1 to get to the powerful shell and Alt plus F2 to jump right back to the DCUI. It really gives you the best of both worlds with just a keystroke. So let's wrap it up. What's the workflow? It's simple. The DCUI is your day zero, can't live without it tool.
Job number one is always network configuration. After that, remember it's your go-to troubleshooting toolkit for those oh no moments. And finally, you flip on SSH to unlock all that awesome remote management power. So look, the DCUI is the solid foundation that everything else in ESXi management is built on. It's the first critical step in this huge world of virtualization. So the question I want to leave you with is this. Now that you've got the foundation solid, what's the next tool you're going to build on top of it?